Welcome to the Cowboys, the podcast where four guys explore the absurdities of everyday life, sharing our entertaining experiences and insights on a variety of topics. Hello, CoinOp-ians. This week, Ryan discusses third-person syndrome, which leads to the Cowboys down a dusty trail filled with, well, dust and more trail. But hey, can you guys guess which one of the Cowboys died and came back to life? Oh, don't you worry, you'll find out. But first, Steven starts a new segment called The Games That Made Us, diving into games that had an impact on shaping us into the adults we are. We're trying out this new shorter format to release an episode each week. We plan to read your feedback on future episodes, so go ahead and comment if you want it heard on air. Like, subscribe, follow, and rate us. Be sure to spread the word about this episode to your friends. You don't want to miss this one. You can find us on Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Radio, Apple, and Google Podcasts, anywhere you get your favorite entertainment. We release a new episode every week, so go ahead and take a listen to past episodes and get all caught up. You deserve it. Now, I just switched cameras to the main stage. The boys look excited to see me. Look at them. Steven is flipping his hair. Chris put down his rifle, and Ryan... Where'd Ryan go? Oh. No worries. He's probably up just, getting a clue or something. Let's hop on the call. See what they're talking about.
It's just caffeine.
You know, it's funny.
It's just caffeine. All the bad side effects are related to the amount of caffeine. So people don't realize tea has caffeine. So I don't know.
I think it's more like if you notice your hand start to like quiver or something, that's when like, okay, you've hit a milestone for caffeine for the day.
Oh yeah. I usually know when it's like my stomach starts to turn and I feel jittery and my hands are shaking. I'm like, oh God, too much.
Have you guys tried nicotine? Just straight nicotine?
No.
It's supposed to be neuroprotective, according to Joe Rogan.
Then go do it, Angel.
What does that mean?
It's supposed to protect your neurons. The problem is that it's smoking tobacco leaf and all that raises your blood pressure, and that's what kills people. But nicotine's supposed to be good for you.
So is tobacco good for me or just nicotine, which is completely separate?
Nicotine. I tried it. Makes me very lightheaded. I'm nicotine sensitive, which is hilarious because I can take caffeine like a motherfucker. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. A new week, a new show. I have a question for all of you.
What up, CoinOp-ians?
It's your boy, Steezy.
You have arrived.
Okay, there we go. I thought Chris was going to come in with something.
Yeah.
Why?
You have arrived.
Bunch of ruffians and bandits in this part of town.
Don't let anyone into this saloon nowadays and this podcast.
Indubitably.
I would like to hear if any of our listeners, our last episode, there was some questions coming up on my pronunciation of the word schnapps.
Yeah.
So,
Pronunciation?
that one too. So that'll be for next week. So starting next week, we're going to start a new segment where Chris says words and we see if he pronounces them correctly or incoherently. Stay tuned.
Spoiler alert: he doesn't pronounce them correctly.
Like I was at the taco joint and they had the different frescas, and so I saw the one with watermelon in it, which is sandia. So I got that one right, and then I saw the yellow one. I said, "Oh, the piña. Can I get some of the piña?" And then my buddy corrected me. He's like, "Whoa, what did you just say?" And I was like, "Sandia." He's like, "No. After that, I was like, piña." He's all, "Piña. Come on, man, get it right."
They're both wrong. But it's you're saying it right, but it's like when you put the emphasis sandia and piña. Sandia, not sandia.
Sandia vagina.
It's all fucking good.
They don't expect much from you, Chris. Let's just put it that way.
That is true. I set the expectations low.
Quick question. Who's the star of Miss Congeniality, Chris?
Sandra Bullock.
Oh my God.
Bullock.
Brian, why do you say it that way?
Sandra Bullock.
It's Bullock. Wait. Okay, so Steven.
What? Sandra?
How do you say her
Sandra Bullock.
There you go. See, a normal person. What the fiddler's fuck is going
Sandra
on with Ryan's
Bullock
pronunciation? I actually got so many comments
Ryan,
from people in Germany.
Yeah.
Why Ryan says Bullock?
Well, you know what, Ryan? Guess what?
Have I talked about Sandra Bullock before?
Yes, you have.
Ryan is not allowed to have an
And-
opinion. His last name makes no sense. I would say it here, but I'm not allowed to say people's
I'm
names.
confused.
Who in Germany is upset with Sandra Bullock?
I don't know their names, Ryan, but they are upset. There was an uprising in Germany.
What up?
I don't think anyone in Germany cares about Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock. Right. Okay, so let's go ahead and go around the horn with a beautiful question I have picked out for you guys. It's very unique, and I thought very long and hard for this one.
I might have thought about it hard, but just certainly didn't think about it long.
No, you know, when inspiration hits, it's got to come out. So,
Hey, sometimes if it's long, it doesn't have to be hard.
Sounds like you dangle in front of your wife until
This is a big fan of
she's
talking.
emotional.
oh shit!
Yeah.
How you know that? Fuck, man. I'm looking at Steven, and I just got more inspiration, so I'm going to ask this: what's your favorite fruit, Chris?
Mango.
Mango. That took me by surprise.
All day, every day. So it's funny because when people think like, oh, your favorite fruit, that's just like what you just pick off the tree and eat more or less, which actually they're a huge pain in the ass to cut them up. But if you get them mixed into anything, and if you do any kind of flavors, if you do mango juice, you do like the mango with the chili powder all over it. If you do the mango candies, just anything mango related, hits it every time.
Very cool. Very cool. Appreciate it.
And I can pronounce it correctly to the street vendor.
Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Go.
Mongo.
I would like some mango.
Damn, that was on point. Good work, Chris. All right, following up with the next person in order, Ryan.
What up, CoinOp-ians? All you smart people out there know the best fucking fruit is the goddamn kiwi.
Ew, dude.
Very good for blood
You like
pressure.
kiwi?
Very good
It
for
looks
blood
like a
pressure.
hairy nutsack.
Yeah, it does, and it tastes just like one.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you just bite into the skin like that? Like that's if you could get past the skin, it's not too bad.
No, you peel it.
You don't
gotta
eat
peel
the
it.
skin. You cut it. You scoop it out.
You got to pee on it?
You guys peel your kiwis?
Yeah,
Well,
it comes with a
like
spoon.
Steven said, you cut it and then you just eat around the skin.
If you buy the kiwi pack, it comes with a spoon and a knife on one side and a spoon on the other. And you cut
Kiwi's
it. and
fucking
scoop it.
delicious.
A ripe kiwi is pretty bomb.
You know, I would add to that strawberry kiwi Capri Sun is the best of all the Capri
It
Suns.
is the best.
No, it's not.
By far.
It's the fucking
Pacific
the
Cooler?
one.
No,
Yeah,
Get
Pacific Cooler.
get off the hype train.
Dude, that's
not a
generic,
fruit.
dude. You're
That's not a
so-
fruit.
that's-
What's in Pacific
That's so
Cooler?
basic, bro. That's so basic. The Pacific
Yeah.
Cooler is like
You're a
the
basic bitch.
default.
Ryan's a basic bitch.
Gosh, I remember when I was 6, right field in Little League. Psh, Pacific Cooler.
That's funny. Thank you for your
So is that the question today? What's the best fruit?
for your gay ass balls fruit, Ryan. Steven, what's your favorite fruit? And don't say yourself.
Well, technically, avocado is a fruit. Bullshit. Shut up. Fruit. God, it's a tie. There's two that I really, really like, assuming they're perfectly ripe and perfectly good. Cantaloupe is one of my favorite fruits ever, but it can be outshined by a very juicy ripe peach. I'll fuck with that. The kind that you bite into and it goes everywhere. Those are
What?
so fucking good.
So good.
Did you say the really bright green fruit that everyone avoids on a fruit platter? Cantaloupe?
No,
Cantaloupe?
that's honeydew.
Cantaloupe's
Cantaloupe.
yellow, you fool.
Cantaloupe is orange.
You're thinking honeydew, bro.
Oh shit!
Cantaloupe,
Yeah, you're wrong. You're wrong. Go sit down.
I don't know what's inside
Cantaloupe
those
is
melons.
orange. And by the way, if honeydew's ripe and good, it's so much better than those fruit platters. The fruit platters always pick the ones that are like crunchy and watery. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a disgrace, but
Yeah, I'll fuck with some honeydew.
yeah.
Honeydew, baby boo.
Kiwi, good answer, Ryan. I do love kiwis a lot. Honey crisp apples are really fucking top tier. Ripe peaches, and what else am I missing? Cantaloupe, a good watermelon. I mean, are you gonna?
Dude,
Watermelon's overrated for sure.
Well, more
peaches,
often than
man.
not, you're not eating a good watermelon. That's my biggest gripe with those things.
yeah, that's true.
And they're a heavy investment. You're gonna spend good money on a watermelon just for it to suck.
Peach is the fruit of the South, man. Dude, every time I visit the grandparents, they had peach trees, and all the peaches were fantastic.
I want to go down there and try a peach off the tree, ripe off the tree. That's what I want.
Dude, get a peach cobbler. Life changing.
I know. I'm really hungry right now, and this conversation's really pissing me off.
So when you go to Italy, Steven, make sure to use the word cantaloupe because you'll be like, oh, can I have some cantaloupe? And they'll have no idea what you're talking about. Fun fact, the United States calls it cantaloupe. The rest of the known world calls it melon.
Yeah. And then what about, isn't there another fruit like that, like pineapple or something? We're the only people that call it pineapple. Everybody else calls them piña.
Piña.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a good one. But because I think with that too, so if you're in Italy, try ordering a honeydew because I just don't know if they're not eating it over there or if they're using a different name for that. But melon was explicitly for the orange one.
Yeah. Well, I just had a cantaloupe.
When I would think back here is like that kind of covers the bases.
You know how to pick a good cantaloupe? I'll tell you.
Let us know.
So when you're looking at all the cantaloupes, you want to find one that has orange underneath the membrane. So they're like very gray exterior, but like you either see like gray with like green underneath the gray or orange. And you want to find the most golden looking cantaloupe.
Sorry.
That is the one that will be ripe and delicious.
Yeah. It's funny because I feel like most of the ones there are like, you see a lot of green colors coming from different areas of it. And I always thought like, oh, the green top, that's got to be the good one. And I've screwed up on them multiple times.
Same with like pineapples. If you're going to get a good pineapple, it's the one that's golden or yellow.
Steven, do you cut the cantaloupe in half, take the seeds out, and then put a bunch of cottage cheese in there and eat it with a spoon?
The fuck?
I would. I mean, I don't really feel like those two flavors go together, but I like cottage cheese and cantaloupe like independently. So, I mean, if I had cottage cheese, I would do it.
That's how I know you're aging in white. You like cottage cheese.
I've liked it my whole life. I haven't bought cottage cheese ever in my life, but my mom would have it when I was growing up, and I'd eat it.
What is cottage cheese?
Curdled
It's
milk.
fucking disgusting. Ew, dude. What the fuck, man? Just throw your milk away, man.
Well, you don't like sour cream?
Oh, I love sour cream with some taquitos. Gives me heartburn, but it's worth it.
But how do you pronounce sour cream in Spanish, though?
Crema de mi verga.
I thought it was like, I thought there was one that was like jojolge.
No, crema de mi verga. Make sure you say it to all your Spanish-speaking friends.
I bet.
That you love crema de mi verga. All right. I'm going to round out this top fruit. It's going to be, it's actually very unique. I don't know if you guys had the opportunity to try it. I bet Steven has because he has really high-class taste. Apparently his kiwi comes with tools. He doesn't just get them at a grocery store. The Yubari King melon.
The what?
You guys ever try the Yubari King melon?
Never heard of
Show a
this thing.
picture of it.
It's pretty good. It's a melon from the what do you call it? The Hokkaido Island, from Hokkaido Island.
That's a cantaloupe.
Yeah, it's like a densuke watermelon. It's orange flesh color. There you go.
That was a goddamn cantaloupe.
That is totally a cantaloupe.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's really good.
It's a fucking cantaloupe, you idiot.
It's a cantaloupe with more seeds.
Guaranteed, it tastes like a cantaloupe.
It's like my favorite. It's my favorite fruit. It's a little pricey, but you know.
Well, we already know Angel didn't know what a cantaloupe was earlier because he called it honeydew.
This is true.
So, yeah, it's a fucking cantaloupe, you ding dong.
I want to square.
I call it something else, all right? And it has to come from a specific province, the Hokkaido Island. All right? Otherwise, it's not worth. So, all right. Thank you, everyone, for giving us your favorite fruit.
All right, spin your fucking wheel, Angel.
Let's get the spinnings, and we're spinning.
Who's it gonna
They see
be?
me spinning.
Might be Chris.
They hating.
Oh,
baby.
Ah, right.
But before Steven goes, I have a bone to pick.
Oh God.
Oh shit. Oh man, we got our bone. What's your boner?
Specifically, it has to do with Angel.
Okay.
How dare you? How fucking dare you?
Angel, you're the leader of the Cowboys, correct?
I am the leader, yes.
Some might say you're the sheriff of the CoinOp-ians.
I am your fearless leader. What's going on?
You failed us on the last episode.
How fucking dare you? I followed through. I came through. And I came.
There's one.
What's going on?
There's one thing every podcast needs in order to be a podcast. Can you tell me what that is, Angel?
Poop.
It needs poop?
It needs poop.
Poop.
You did not lead us to a poop story in the last episode. I'm very
You
upset.
talked
Oh,
about
my
Taco
goodness.
Bell and how your stomach hurt, and
Oh, Stephen gets
never-
a million points this
Well, we
episode.
never talked about actually pooping.
oh, well,
No, but it was implied for
No,
those
it can't be
sophisticated
implied
listeners.
poop. It needs to be explicit poop.
To be said.
You know, and we talked about dark humor, slapstick humor. There was no poop jokes as a category there.
No poop humor.
Yeah.
Poop humor's
I mean, do you know how many laughs and responses I got from Ryan pooping in the shower in New York and then waiting for the light to turn off? Like, is that evolving or devolving humor?
Yeah.
I think
I'm not really upset, Angel. I'm just disappointed.
I'll just make it more obvious for our more rudimentary listeners. Listeners who listen rudimentarily.
Okay. That's all. You can continue, Steven.
Okay. I kind of wanted to start a new segment that's not typical poop or whatever, but it's about video games.
Oh.
And I think it's going to lead us into a good direction. I think we kind of talked before, but I wanted to start a segment called The Games That Made Us.
Wow.
Kind of taking a dive into different games that might have made big memories in our past, made us kind of who we are today in terms of like what we like to play, whatever. So you guys feel free to take on it on a future podcast episode. And this one I kind of picked because last week Chris went on a great story about teamwork and whether or not it was good or bad. And this game that I'm going to talk about definitely involved a lot of teamwork. And I think it was for the better. So here we go. The year was 2001. All right. I was a freshman in high school. I don't know where you guys were at, but I was right there, freshman in high school. And
really, I'm pretty sure I was 7th grade.
Can I guess the game?
Am I that young? Dude, we're like a month apart from each other.
in 2001,
Is it World of Warcraft?
I graduated in
so.
2006. So
I graduated 05.
I also graduated 2006.
so
Oh,
okay.
06.
Am I just
We're
bad
all
at math?
freshmen.
Okay, maybe it was like
Steven
it was
is-
probably the 8th grade.
Yeah.
Maybe the summer of kind of that time for me, but it was 2001. And every day after school, I would rush home with excitement, eager to dive into my favorite game, which at the time was Diablo 2.
What?
My paladin had reached a high level, and I was conquering Bale runs like there was no tomorrow. Equipped with my map hack, I would use my Enigma, which was a special piece of armor that allowed any character to teleport. So I would use this and teleport myself wherever I fucking pleased because I had map hack and I could see where I was going. I was a formidable force, a motherfucking hammered in with teleport, and no goddamn thing could stop me. Armies of demons and foul undead creatures met their demise on multiple battlefields, all thanks to my spinning magical hammers. Even the lesser and primevals trembled in my presence, crying out in pain as my hammers of justice tore into their flesh. The spoils of victory, piles of loot lay before me, and with a click of my mouse, me and my party members would scramble to claim our share of the treasure. The excitement of discovering a legendary item fueled my gaming addiction. For months, I couldn't get enough. My cousins and I played this game a lot together, and we were constantly working on our characters, honing in our gear, seeking out more treasure, trading with other players, seeking every possible advantage. So I already mentioned before, I had something called Map Hack, which was not part of the game. I would download it off of Napster or LimeWire or wherever you'd get your hacks back then. And
He's not the game theorist, right?
What?
The game theorist? Matt Pat?
I don't know, but it was a magical little thing that revealed all areas of the map. And so I already mentioned.
Oh, an add-on.
Yes, an add-on.
Never mind. Go on.
Sounds shady.
That was illegal, but like nobody was checking it. Everybody used it back then. It was the norm. But what set me and my cousins apart was we were okay. So we used the map pack, no big deal, but we had the audacity to steal
what a punk.
precious gems from other people.
Oh, you're a piece of shit.
Did you get reported, banned, or was this before the banning period?
Yeah. I know. These gems in the game were rare and powerful, and they were very hard to come by, called the Annihilist Charm. And we were determined to attain them, but you couldn't trade them for other players. The only way to get them were to find them naturally. They were unique, so you could only have one in your inventory. You couldn't trade them, blah, 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 blah. We devised a cunning plan, me and my cousins. So the game wouldn't allow me to directly trade the gems, but we discovered a good little handy-dandy workaround. We would bait unsuspecting players into public games, convincing them that we had a way to trade the gems. Of course, they would come in and be like, well, how can I do this? This is impossible. And we say, it's not. We figured out a way. We would say, you stand over here on this side of the map, and we'll stand over here, or I'll stand over here on this side of the map. You drop that gem onto the ground, and then I'll drop whatever you want to trade it for on my side of the ground. And then we'll switch places and pick up each other's stuff, and we have pulled off a trade that Blizzard did not want us to do. Genius. They were on board. What they didn't know was my cousin was hiding right behind them in the same game. So as soon as they would drop that gem onto the ground, he would come out of the bushes and grab the gem off the ground, and we would both exit the game.
Greedy.
Fucking cyber bullies.
Greedy billionaires.
And they would be left with nothing. Oh no. Can't stop stupid. Our scam worked countless times, and our inboxes were filled with furious hate mail, but we were unfazed because we had what we wanted, and it was a good laugh. But yeah, no, Diablo 2 wasn't just a fantastic hack and slash. I'm sure you guys have all played it, but it was an open sandbox that encouraged teamwork, camaraderie, other players, tons of socializing in the game. There was a free trade market that was a lawless arena, as I've explained. You could haggle like old time merchants. The game was immersive, unforgettable, and to this day, I still yearn for that unparalleled gaming experience. A feeling I've only encountered in a few other games.
You know who you can blame for the auction house in Diablo 3, Steven?
Me?
Pieces of shit like you. That's why we can't have nice things.
Nice.
So I don't know. I mean, that's the beauty of that game was I remembered playing it, and it was really fun to like level up your character, get really awesome loot, and kill bosses over and over again to like, you know, grind up your character. But every game, like you go into the looking for group, looking for game, trade chat, whatever, and you would look at all these people's games. Hey, I want to trade this for that, or, you know, hey, come in here and we're going to do this kind of run. There was so much like co-op or whatever you'd want to call it, including the fun trading stuff. So it was just, I spent years playing that game with my cousins, and we stole lots of gems and did a lot of stupid fun shit. You guys have any unethical gaming experiences in your lifetime? Any tactics that you did to best other players?
You know, I started playing the almighty RuneScape. Did any of you guys play some RuneScape?
No.
Nope.
I didn't. I was busy with WoW, World of Warcraft.
Yeah. It was. I mean, was RuneScape a knockoff, or was it like
No.
RuneScape had the original idea?
I think like RuneScape, and what was that other Eve Online? No, what was that other game?
Yeah, there was another one. Huh?
EverQuest.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mhm.
And then WoW kind of piggybacked their shit.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed RuneScape. That was like my first online thing where I would just like race home and be like, oh, that's so cool. My brother and I would be like fighting over getting on the computer for it. And we were playing, and I think that was the first time that I came into contact with you needed to buy a membership to get access to the rest of the world. So in the regular world, I did all the 20 quests you could do or whatever. My character was okay. So I was like, okay, well, I don't really have a purpose now. So I kind of got bored, and I said, hey, I told my brother, hey man, whatever you want to take out of my bank, like go for it. And I remember my brother got some guys to talk him into going out into the fields and, hey, we're going to go take you to the secret place, and we'll trade you something. You just got to drop it on the ground. And then some guy comes running out of the bushes and grabs his stuff and then logs out. And I saw this happen. I was like, oh, that's so people do that. There's those type of douchebags on the internet, man. Terrible.
Yeah. I remember every game back then we would find some sort of workaround. So like in World of Warcraft, there would be like this big battle. Remember that Battle Angel, the AV, Alterac Valley, right? Is that what it's called?
Oh, yeah, Alterac Valley. That sounds right.
Yeah, so it was like 40 guys versus 40 guys, huge map, and the goal was to like
on Diablo.
on World of Warcraft.
PvP, World of Warcraft.
And the goal was to slowly take over the map and control it, get to their base, destroy their base. But I found out from some video that you can like crawl up the mountains doing some sort of like sideways wall climb thingy, and you could get into areas of the map that were not supposed to be accessed, and you could run around the whole map all the way to their side of the map and then drop down into their base and start causing all kinds of problems for them. So exploiting that, I exploited Halo a bunch. I guess there was, remember when the energy sword?
Super jumping, baby.
Yeah, remember when this energy sword became a thing and you could do like some fun shit and climb up onto weird parts of the map, and there was some weird things going on in Halo 2.
Halo 2 is the one game that I was a dick in.
Yeah.
I'd always coerce my team into the Warthog and then just drive it straight off a cliff and just cackle.
I think the first game I was ever a dick in was Roller Coaster Tycoon, sending people to their watery graves over and over again.
That was just a dick to yourself. That wasn't to the strangers on the internet.
That was fun. But yeah, I'm trying to think of any other unethical.
But Steven, on Diablo 2, did you ever make it to the cow level?
Oh yeah, everybody makes it to the cow level.
Yeah,
I've never seen a cow.
I heard that was the sham back then.
Yeah, so the cows are funny, but like yeah, that was a big loot area. So I mean, if you played it enough, you're definitely gonna go to the cow level. They had it every difficulty.
Did you ever get to like hardcore mode?
I never really played hardcore mode because I really wasn't that good at the game. I just knew how to do the cheese build, which was the magical hammer build, which was an unstoppable build once you got enough gear. So we would scam our way to like good gear. And then after that, we would just have this fucking pimped out character that we would do treasure hunting runs with. But it was so much fun. As for memorable games, Ryan, do you have a game that's above all in terms of core memories from growing up?
Roller Coaster Tycoon, I remember just sinking Saturdays into that in middle school. It would just melt away.
Yeah. I beat the whole game once. It was fun.
I also got super into like emulating shit in like middle school because I had like no money, and the idea of like having unlimited access to all these like Super Nintendo games on your PC was just like mind melting. But I always just deviated straight to the SNES RPGs like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy.
Earthbound?
Yeah.
Those are top tier.
Did you play Earthbound?
I remember I played a lot of Earthbound when I was in middle school too. I don't think I ever beat that until I was like 30. I actually sat down and played it, but it was hard to keep my attention when you had unlimited access to everything.
Yeah. Angel, did you ever do anything unethical in your gaming?
Honestly?
Yes, honestly.
No. I never, ever tried any scams. I never tried to... I was always a fan of grinding, and because I love chasing the feeling of I accomplished something because of my hard work. I didn't try to scam anybody out.
Attaboy.
Thinking back, what a fucking nerd. I get the attaboy, but god damn.
Get to the top.
But yeah, but you guys are talking about like Diablo 2. I've never really played. I played World of Warcraft only because my brothers played. They're like 4 or 5 years younger than me. I just I played Nintendo my entire life, and like Sega, Dreamcast, and all that. And then after some time, it went away. So I stuck with Nintendo, and they started playing computer games. And that was around World of Warcraft. It was around Minecraft. It was around a bunch of stuff.
You were pretty big into World of Warcraft. Am I wrong about that?
Oh, I was huge. And it was just to hang out with them, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
It was just to hang out with them.
My initial exposure to World of Warcraft was my sister came home from college, and I saw her playing a game. And I was like, what are you playing? That looks cool. And she's like, it's WoW. And I'm like, WoW? What the fuck is WoW?
Wow, that sounds
like,
amazing.
Oh, yeah, World of Warcraft. And her boyfriend at the time were playing it. And I like, can I try it? And so she like said, okay, yeah. Like, and she let me just play for a few hours on her computer, and it was crack cocaine. I don't think I ever played an open world like game like that before, like an MMO for sure, MMORPG. And I was hooked, and me and my cousins got on it, and we did not pull ourselves away for years. I'm like years of my time on that game, where just so insanely addicted to it. And
it's an amazing game, dude.
It is amazing. It's too amazing. And I spent a lot of time like leading raids and stuff, and kind of coordinating a bunch of people. Teamwork, as Chris did, which was super fun. And one of my first experiences was my sister and her boyfriend at the time joined a guild with some good people, but they weren't big enough to do the raids. So they partnered up with these Australian people, and they made guild called the Australian Army, and I was like her little brother, and I got invited into it. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was invited, and so I'd go on raids with them, and it was super fun. Like you're just hanging out with a bunch of Australians, and you're all on Ventrilo, chatting. You're making a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
And
I haven't heard that in so long.
Yeah, it was all cool up until my sister was like main tanking it for a while, and it was all cool until like some dude we were raiding with like started like laying into her for making a mistake, and I went like nuclear. Like, fuck you, you fucking piece of shit, motherfucker! You don't talk to my sister. Like, and it was like, and then everybody disbanded, and I never got to play with my sister anymore after that. So I ended up going off with my cousins making a guild, and it was so much fun. But the reason I picked Diablo 2 for this topic, to start off this topic, was because my next podcast episode, I'll be discussing things that sold out and turned out to be super disappointing despite the high expectations tied to their predecessors.
I feel like this is just a personal issue, Steve.
I wonder.
Steven's the king of being excited about something, and then he experiences it, and then you ask him, hey, how was that? Oh, it's fucking shit.
Hey,
That's
man.
very true. Can I ask you a question, Stephen?
Yeah.
I have a hypothesis why you're like this. I feel like you get super hyper obsessed with something. It's your mechanism to kind of realize, okay, there isn't much value that I can get out of this game. I'm going to go ahead and try something else. So I'm just going to, in my mind, hate it.
I think it's half true. I think the biggest thing is I'm chasing a high that it will never be able to fulfill. And as soon as I realize it's not going to fulfill that, I like hyper focus on what is shitty about it so I can feel better about my decision to hate it, or that I'm not happy with the experience. So, but I do think that certain gripes I have with certain games are legitimate, and I do have room to like new stuff. There's like a couple games that we've all played recently that I was like really like thought was a great game. And one of them being that stupid bug game.
Yeah, Grounded.
That Ryan hates.
Fuck the bug game.
That was so good.
And
That game sucks.
I love that game. I just thought it was so cool. And yeah, can't think of too many sequels that I'm like really into, but
Minecraft.
never played
Yeah.
Minecraft like more than just the open sandbox that it started out as. I don't know what it is now.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Last of Us.
All these scary games, Ryan, that I've downloaded, we haven't played one.
I was
Single player, baby.
pretty well. I'm not saying I'm not happy with Phasmophobia as a whole, but it's a really fun time to play.
Down to play Halloween.
It's a
It's
very
fun.
clunky
It's fun to
game.
play with you because it actually weirds you. Well, actually, I feel like everyone I play with, they actually get freaked out, and that's what makes it the part fun. Come on, man! Don't be a little bitch. Go out of the van. Go in there. I don't want it, man. It's your turn this time.
It's the hyped up sequels that really bug me, like the Zeldas of the world, the Halos, the Diablos that come out. Like those are the ones that piss me off the most because,
But Zelda doesn't hype itself.
well, the thing is, growing up in my era, you played either Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, or maybe even SNES version of Link to the Past, and those were all like
It's the best one.
epic games
Yeah.
that were groundbreaking
Solid.
and just on another level. And then they just keep trying to cash in on this franchise, and every time they do it, it just really doesn't hit the same way. So you get mad. You're like, you're fucking shitting on something that I hold near and dear to my heart. You know,
I hate
Diablo,
those ones.
like, well,
Zelda doesn't shit, it reinvents.
yeah, but like, I just didn't think that the game was that good, and everybody couldn't stop like sucking its dick.
It's not good.
The
It's
I,
you know what? It's
I
a
didn't,
different game.
I didn't play the new
The
one.
new one's one of the best games ever made.
I don't think that's true.
No, what?
Ooh,
100%.
that's a
I
bold
I
statement.
actually had low expectations for it, but when I finished it, I said, "God damn, that was one of the best games I've ever played."
You're talking about the newest one where you move, the one I rage quit.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
build
the
a
one you played
machine.
for like 2 minutes and quit. Yeah,
I can't say
It
yes or
was-
no to that because I gave up on the first iteration of that game because it was stupid.
It's not the same game.
What was that game called?
Breath
Breath of the
Wild.
It wasn't that bad of a game. I actually really enjoyed playing it for a while, but then it got super repetitive and easy, and I stopped liking it.
The new one's much harder.
I think it needs an element of difficulty, but it also needs to stop wasting my time so much.
Yeah, you got to sink a lot of hours into those Zelda games.
I just don't like, well, I've talked about it many times. I don't like games that create unnecessary like checkpoints just because they don't want you to get through the game so fast.
Mm.
And I felt like the weapon system in Zelda was an unnecessary checkpoint. Like, oh, hey, you got to go repair your shit a bunch of fucking times. And you're like,
no, you never had to repair anything. You just picked up something new, and there you go. You just move on. Try new things.
The new ones you got to repair, and it's fucking ridiculous. Why all of a sudden?
No, you don't have to repair shit. You don't have to repair shit. I never
What
repaired
do you
anything.
mean?
What the fuck are you
It
repairing?
breaks. After some time, it breaks, and that's freaking retarded.
Yeah, you have a whole stash of weapons. You're constantly expanding your inventory so you can have more. If it breaks, you move on to another thing. You don't have to fucking repair anything. You just move the fuck on. It's designed so you try out new things and not just rely on one.
but I want to keep using my Biku stick.
It's to inspire experimentation.
Fair point, but still.
Did you guys ever play, speaking of things that I probably didn't do as a kid, is I did not own Conker's Bad Fur Day on N64, but my buddy did. And anytime we got to go over to my buddy's house and play that, it was like such a golden treat because it was one of those games that I knew you know I wasn't supposed to be playing, but I got the glorious opportunity to, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love it.
that was very much a moment in its time that was only good for people of our age at that time because it's absolutely terrible and
GoldenEye.
immature. but at the time,
Do you think
it was funny. Just hearing a video game cuss at the time was like, oh, that's so funny.
GoldenEye was a game that was only good in its time? As far
Well,
as
GoldenEye's
as far as a
trash now.
shooter, it's not holding up. But I wonder if they remade it with like modern shooter mechanics, if that would be a fun game. Like the missions were pretty cool, like having to speed run stuff to unlock stuff. I think that's all pretty cool.
They did remake it.
Yeah, they
Oh,
remade
yeah,
it
but-
multiple times. I don't think they remade it recently, though. I think once Call of Duty hit the
No,
scene.
they did. It came out like 3 months ago.
Oh,
Was it-
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's on. So on the Xbox, they remade it.
So does it have free aim, like free aiming?
It has free aim on Xbox. It's also on the Switch Online, but the Switch Online version is a Nintendo 64 version, so the controls are shit. But on Xbox, part of the Rare Replay, it has like normal shooter controls. It's slightly better graphics.
All right,
Still
Mr.
looks really
Mr.
shitty.
Nintendo. I think we all had Nintendos. So a favorite game for SNES, Angel Go.
SNES. Fuck. You got to say the one that I hated. Mario. Fucking Mario, dude.
Super Mario World.
Super Mario World.
Yeah, that's also probably my biggest memory of Super Nintendo is Super Mario World. I would put that or Mario Kart.
Yoshi's
I
Island
would
was
say-
better than Super Mario World.
Yeah.
Oh, Yoshi's
that
Island
the,
is
like-
awesome. There are some games at the rental store that I would enjoy, and I can't fucking find them anymore in any emulators, and I'm pissed off. It was like a board game, and there was like a bunch of guys who had like guns, and you'd like have little mini battles. And anyway,
Yoshi's Island. Well, no, I'm thinking the N64 version where you like.
Oh, Yoshi's
Yoshi's
Story.
Story.
That was
Yoshi's
shit.
Story, yeah.
My sister had
That's
like the
terrible.
full
What
on
about
walkthrough on that shit. N64.
what about N64? Because I feel like that had like a more eclectic
Okay,
choice of games.
Just
Nintendo 64
erase
is
Zelda.
terrible.
Erase Zelda. And what's your favorite game that you can remember from N64?
Star Fox 64. Star Fox 64 is the best
Yeah.
game.
Ooh, it's not good.
For 30
It was
minutes.
good, yeah, but not the best ever.
It was fucking. I don't know about y'all. Y'all probably hate it, but I could play that for fucking months straight.
You just sat on the Rumble Pack, didn't you?
Yeah.
No.
Dude, mine's easy. Mine's easy. Pilot Wings 64.
That game.
Pilot
Oh,
Wings.
God. That is terrible.
What is
No,
that?
it wasn't. It was cool, and you got to fly
That was
around.
the
the-
other game that came at launch that wasn't called Mario.
Dude, that game was so cool because you're going. Because remember, the N64 is all about going from the 2D world essentially to the 3D world, and no better way to do it than to get into a game like Pilot Wings, where you're flying around on like hang gliders, or you're jumping out of planes, being a parachute guy. It's just new experience. It's what felt so good about the
Yeah.
N64. Wave Race was sick game.
I was obsessed
Ooh,
with
yeah, that's a
Wave
good
Race.
Even though you go back and play it now, there's like 3 levels, and it's
Oh,
shit.
it's terrible.
Mario Party with burning holes in your hand.
Mm,
Remember they had to give out gloves because people were spinning the stick so hard.
No,
Yes.
no, they're giving out.
They
gloves.
did because there was games where you had to spin the little joystick as fast as you could. People would put it on their palm and rotate
Yeah.
it as fast as they could. It was like burning friction holes in the palm, dude. It hurt.
yes, but
And
you
so
would
they
win.
they would be giving out free gloves that you could get from
I'm
Nintendo Power.
googling this right now.
Yeah, look at that.
Yes,
Oh yeah, Nintendo offers gloves to prevent joystick injury. 2002.
Oh man, I thought I sold something I didn't know.
I've never heard of that before. I'm in a whole new dimension for sure.
A lot of people like to reference Blast Course. I played that a couple of times.
Blast Course was dope. That was a dope game.
I never got to get into it.
That was hard.
Yeah.
That was a hard
Blast Course? I've never heard of that one.
The whole concept of Blast Course was like, for some reason, like a nuclear bomb was being transferred across the country from like a big rig. And if it hit anything, it would blow up. So every level you had a different vehicle. And all you're doing was destroying buildings and trees and everything.
I was too young for that game.
Out of the way.
I was too young for that game.
So like some levels you'd have a bulldozer, some you'd have like a motorcycle, one was like a robot, and all you're doing is destroying.
Did you guys play racing games a lot back then?
Yeah.
So one of my favorite games, and it was probably unrelated to it being good, but it was Rush 64. Did you ever play that game?
I thought you were going to say Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah.
Or San Francisco Rush. Okay, that was like a really fun game for me, but it was just me and my buddy got into it. And then Stunt Race FX.
That was on SNES.
That's SNES, huh? That was hard game because it was so clunky. What other racing games was on N64?
You ever play Diddy Kong Racing?
Yeah,
Diddy
I didn't
Kong
get into
Racing
it.
Was so much better than Mario Kart.
I didn't get into Diddy Kong.
Yes, I like the little like the stages you can go in, and there were so many hidden Easter eggs and secret stuff. I was just like, oh, I fucking love this.
Donkey Kong.
It's like an open world Mario Kart. It was dope.
I changed my mind. Donkey Kong Country 2 SNES is probably my top game of all time.
It was really better than the first one, and the third one got a little weird
because all I have to do is listen to the music, and it like it makes me feel back. Like I'm 8 or 9 years old again. Like I can feel that time of my life.
Who was the better character, Donkey Kong or Diddy Kong?
Diddy.
Oh, Diddy Kong for sure.
Donkey Kong wasn't even it. It was Diddy, and then the girl.
Oh, you're right.
And she was better than Diddy because you could like spin your hair.
Fly. Yeah.
But I love that game. There's everything about it.
Dude. Okay, so since you like Donkey Kong, the only game I liked, and I want to get your opinion on it, everyone's opinion actually, Donkey Kong 64.
Oh, it was great.
That game's trash.
I got it as a DK. Donkey Kong. They even used this song in the new Mario movie.
I almost fucked up my nose.
It was catchy.
I played the whole.
It was a terrible game.
I played the whole thing, but it was like I didn't have that many games.
I beat it as a kid.
It was so much content.
I got it for Christmas.
It was way too much.
It was yellow, and it came with like an extra memory pack thingy that you had to put in here.
Yep.
Yes.
Banjo-Kazooie was way better than Donkey Kong 64.
What was that like?
I enjoyed Banjo-Kazooie.
What was that like sci-fi shooter kind of game that everybody liked?
Jet Force Gemini.
That game.
I never understood that game.
People like that a lot.
I don't think I ever beat it because I didn't know what to do.
Were you a GoldenEye or a Perfect Dark fan?
Perfect Dark was dope.
Yeah. Perfect Dark was cool.
Never played Perfect Dark.
Me neither.
The X-ray gun. It was sick. They use a lot of like GoldenEye maps too. It was an interesting little weird blend of the two games. Yeah, good memories there. Oh. All right, I end my turn.
Steven, thank you so much for your contribution to nostalgia.
Wax nostalgia.
All right, okay, let's see.
Spin your fucking wheel, Angel.
Bomberman? Were you down with Bomberman or not down with Bomberman?
Bomberman fucking inspired me so much, bro, because I loved the different styles. I would always draw this thing in middle school where it was like a little, like a tag thing or whatever. And
is it the shape of an S?
No, dude.
The little S thing?
It was the last Dark Shadow Bomb guy. I forget his name, but that was like my favorite bomber villain, dude. Oh my God.
You want to hear the list of the top rated N64 games by Metascore? I'll just go down the list real quick.
The top.
So obviously,
it's gotta be Super Mario.
No, Ocarina of Time.
Obviously.
Then number 2, Perfect Dark. Number 3, GoldenEye. Number 4, Majora's Mask.
Yes.
5, Super Mario 6. And these are all high 90s. So these are all like considered epic games. Paper Mario, which I never played.
Me neither.
I like that one.
Banjo-Kazooie. And then Wave Race. Then Conker's Bad Fur Day. Then Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, Rayman 2, Donkey Kong 64, Blast Corps, Banjo-Tooie, Beetle Adventure Racing. I forgot about that game. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Excite Bike 64. Diddy Kong Racing, Star Fox 64 is down there.
Yo.
Turok 2.
Ooh, Turok 2 is dope.
It sounds like something Ryan would play.
Do you remember Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, NFL Blitz, Turok?
Yes, Tony Hawk.
So you put the soundtrack alone.
Put some good Charlotte on there.
Trying to keep the ground on my feet. Whatever. Trying to look to see if there's any of these that I just like forgot about. The Extreme G, I remember that one. Pilot Wings 64 as number 40. Bullshit.
That's where it belongs.
So
dude,
Pilot Wings was cool, but it totally got to the point where it was like, okay, I've lost this one. I'm just not going to get gold medal. I would much rather play to pay the better level now, or be able to fly around as the winged guy instead of run out of gas as the helicopter.
Yeah.
So it just the plateau got too steep.
Yeah.
Plateau.
I was wondering if you were going to catch that one.
God damn it. Did you do that on purpose?
The Battle of Platea.
The plateau.
There were Pokemon Stadium rinks in this.
Dude, Pokemon Snap?
They're way.
Pokemon Snap?
That's
Pokemon
out.
Snap, dude. I played that one way more than I should have.
Same. But I really enjoyed it.
What about episode 1, this pod racer game?
That's dope.
I don't see it on this list though.
That one was good. I actually enjoyed that, and I fucking hate Star Wars, but it was a good
I
one.
always thought of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater as more of a PlayStation game.
It is, because the soundtrack's good on PlayStation, not N64.
Here I am.
You can only put so much on the chip.
All right, thank you so much, Steven.
I'm a Superman.
We're gonna have to talk. Yeah, that's my favorite song. Dude.
Spin your fucking wheel, Angel.
All right, I wonder who it's gonna be. Spinning the wheel.
DK.
Dude, no
Donkey Kong.
no NFL Blitz 64?
It's on the list for sure.
Dude, that's a good game.
It's like number 20.
Ryan.
Oh, right. Now, before I get started, I got a bone to pick.
Oh god.
Jesus Christ.
Simon, it's not with you, Angel.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
It's not with you, Christopher.
Who could it be?
This Mr. Steven over here.
What did I do?
Now, a few weeks ago, Steven came into the CoinOp Cowboys have a private chat where we talk about for weeks what we're going to entertain all the CoinOp-ians with. And Steven said that he either did or almost shit his pants in Buena Park, and he never elaborated. He said, "You got to wait for the podcast."
This is true.
I thought I could get away from this.
And I've been waiting for weeks.
Dang, dude.
Weeks.
Ryan's got
find out.
memory is a steel trap, man.
Oh man, I thought I could get away
Don't
from
tell
this.
me this poop story.
I'm so happy you remembered.
Okay, so I had a buddy who's having a bachelor party, and like all good bachelor parties, he wanted to play disc golf all weekend. So that was his bachelor party, which is fine. It's not really typical bachelor party shenanigans, but I'm down. And after we played disc golf, and after they wanted to go eat, so we went to some place in like Buena Park. It's like this big mall. It's like a fancy mall, but it's like all Asian shit.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what mall that is, but I've never been there before. But they wanted to get shabu, some hot pot.
Shabu.
Yeah.
It's like an empty mall.
Yes.
Oh no,
It's like an outdoor mall, right?
it's outdoor, but it was busy. It's busy now.
Every time I've been to it, it's a ghost town. But continue.
But like, there's a lot of nice places there, a lot of Asian places, whatever. So it's hot as fuck, but he wants shabu, and so we go get it. And it's amazing. And they give you this, we got the spicy pot. We all got our own pots, but mine was this. They were like, "Do you want the red one?" I said, "Yeah." They're like, "It's spicy." I'm like, I don't care. Give it to me. It was
But
spicy.
you do.
It was good. It wasn't too spicy, but it was spicy. And I continued to eat like all the meat, all the vegetables they gave me, trays upon trays. And we just kept eating and eating. And I just was stuffed to the absolute gills while walking out of this restaurant back to my truck. And I get to my truck. We had been playing disc golf in the sun. We ate all this food, had a couple beers, and I'm just like, I'm fucking tired. I'm really tired. So I know there was like a little Asian coffee shop right as I was leaving. Looked nice, tons of people in it. I'm going to go get an iced coffee or whatever. So I go back and I get a big iced coffee. I get in my truck and I start driving off, drinking my iced coffee. And I was like 5 minutes on the 91 or the 22, whatever's over there. And the fucking pain just surged through my gut. And dude, I don't really know the area that well. And so I'm just like, I'm not going to even stress about this. I'm not even going to fight this. I'm just going to pull off the freeway. I'm not going to worry. I'm going to pull off the freeway and I'm going to Google McDonald's. I'm going to go take a poop and I'll move on with my life. Because I used to always just get all worked up about it, freaking out. I'm not doing it this time. It is what it is. It's fine. Dude, I get off the freeway and it starts like leaking out of my butthole. Like
what? Shut up. Dude, what do you mean it starts leaking out of your butt? You're like that little dog with the house on fire.
Yeah. But like a wave of cramps come and the pressure was really too much for me to handle. Like no amount of crossing my legs or anything is going to stop this thing. So I said, I don't have any more time. I'm not going to stress. I'm not going to stress about this. I'm going to find a bag in the back of my truck and I'm gonna poop in it.
I think you just have a fetish for pooping in bags.
So I pulled off the freeway, just a little residential neighborhood right there, and I pull in, I park under a tree that has some shade. I get into the back of my truck and I start looking around for a bag. And there's no bag. And all that's back there is the bag, like it's a nice bag that holds my discs for my disc golfing.
Oh no. Oh no.
So I took the discs out and I pooped in it. And I put it in the back. And I put it into the back of my truck so I didn't have to smell it all the way home. And I was starting driving away, felt super relieved. I was like, well, whatever. It was a shitty old bag. I can get a new one. And I was super relieved. And I was driving home and I'm wearing sandals. And as I'm driving, I start to feel something like get stiff on like my ankle area, like kind of sticky and crusty, like as if you got glue on your leg and it starts to harden. And like, so I'm like moving my ankle and I'm like, why does it feel? And I look down and there's just like remnants of poop on my ankle. And it's starting to crust over. And so I go home and I shower, I throw away the bag, I go to the car wash, I get full detail on my car. I rejuvenated, I rose like a phoenix from the ashes. I'm born again.
Were people like, what's that smell? You're like, I don't know.
No, I mean,
no one made a comment?
I pooped in the bag and I threw it in the back of my truck, and you know what?
You know, I'm just glad you had enough time to get the discs out.
You pooped on yourself.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the disc. Sorry.
So how many times in your life have you pooped in a bag now? It's got to be at least 4.
This is like the 4th time that I've pooped in a bag. But for Christmas, I got a gag gift that was a poop emergency kit. And I'm going to put it in my truck now because it's like it was like a joke gift. But it comes with like wet wipes, it comes with like a plastic bag, everything you can need to emergency poop somewhere. And yeah, so there's my poop story. I pooped in a bag at 35 years old. Jesus and like Christ. The worst part was there's some truck that like pulled up next to me like while I'm doing it, and like he just wasn't like kind of sitting there. I'm like, does he know what I'm doing?
He knows. Oh shit, he knows.
Pulled up, he rolls down the window, kind of stroking it like, hey boy.
I know.
That's great.
That's hard.
Thank you, Steven. My bone's been picked.
There you go.
It's quelled for another week. Ryan will.
So now I'll regale you guys with a tale. First, I'm going to read you a poem.
All right.
That cock is so hard.
Titled "The Wasteland" by T.S. Eliot.
Hey.
Who is the third who always... restart.
I'm the third.
Who is the third who walks always beside you? When I count, there are only you and I together. But when I look ahead, up the white road, there is always another walking beside you, gliding wrapped in a brown mantle, hooded. I do not know whether a man or a woman, but who is that on the other side of you? I want you to think about that for a minute. Because today, we're going to talk about the third man syndrome.
I thought about it.
What'd you think?
I think it's a metaphor for his wife not being able to let go of either an old lover or a family member. And he notices that she carries this sort of presence with her everywhere, and it's affecting their relationship.
I'm calling her a whore.
A jaded lover. Somebody who couldn't get over their past. Or maybe they lost a family member and they just always, sad. And they're not able to.
No, you called her a whore. It's fine.
You called her a whore. That's inappropriate. And you're not even close to the mark,
she's
Steven.
A fucking slut.
Dare you. Maybe he's into it.
It's the third man syndrome is referring to in moments of need, like great dire danger. There's many reports that people sense a presence that either helps them do something superhuman, lifting something heavy up, guiding them out of safety, saving them because it's not their time to go.
Mothman.
Wow.
Is what this poem is referring to. Now, in my grand research, I encountered a man named John Geiger who wrote a book called the Third Man Factor: Surviving the Impossible. And in this book, he claims that there's several scientific explanations for what this third man syndrome is, such as like biochemical reactions that are going off when we're in distress, that are like having us see things, or just misfiring brain activity that's having us hallucinate. But he believes that a spiritual explanation makes much more sense.
Wait, was this the guy who counted?
Counted?
Yeah, he was the counter, right?
I don't know what you mean by the counter. We all count.
What was his last name again?
John Geiger.
Geiger counter, right?
The Geiger counter.
He's the one who invented
the Geiger counter, radioactivity.
His name was actually Gagger because he gagged on a bunch of cocks. He's a slut.
Sorry.
Wow, now who looks who can't pronounce words, Steven?
Huh?
Stefan.
Now, in my grand research, I encountered two stories that I'm going to read to you of incidences of this third man syndrome.
Read them.
Okay.
One of them is about a man named Ron DeFrancisco,
Ooh.
who was on the 84th floor of the South Tower of the World Trade Center on September 11th, 2001. And when the second plane crashed into the building, he made several attempts to escape, but he just couldn't find an exit. There's too much smoke. Everyone was worried and scared, and no one knew what the fuck was going on. And just when he was at the brink of giving up, you know what he heard, Angel?
He heard an angel call him.
Go. Keep going.
Jump out the window.
He said,
Come this way.
He heard someone say in an unfamiliar voice, "Ron, get up. Get up, Ron."
What?
Yes, he heard someone. Was it someone else? And it was a whole new voice he'd never heard before telling him to get up.
Wow.
The voice was male, did not belong to anyone else in the stairwell, but it was insistent that he get up, and addressed him by his own name. He heard it. It wasn't in his head. He heard it. And it was telling him, "You can do this, Ron. You can do this." But it was more than just a voice. There's also like a vivid sense of a physical presence that was with him. He said he had the sensation that somebody lifted him up. He felt like he was guided. He was led to the stairs, and something grabbed his hand and just led him to safety. He made it out of the tower, and he was only one of 4 people to escape from the 81st floor of that tower.
Wow.
Dang. Dude, 84 flights of stairs in a smoky building's quite the anomaly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, even if I went to that, even if I was in his situation with the knowledge that it was all going to happen the way it happened, could I have made it out? That's 81 floors of stairs. How long does that take to get out?
In a blink of an eye, I'm sure.
When you're guided.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when you're guided. Fucking got buffed by that pally, baby.
No. Let me tell you about another tale. This one is about a man named James who was climbing in the Canadian Rockies. Something I could see Chris doing, looking for like a moose or something.
Through the John Muir Trail, man. And there's probably moose along the way.
Now James was hiking or climbing this mountain with a man named Richard, and they were overcome by an avalanche, Christopher.
That's bad. Avalanches are bad.
You know how far this avalanche pushed them?
Oh, gosh. Mile?
2,000 feet.
Half mile. Push them 2,000 feet, and they
pushed them 2,000 feet.
So that'd be
eventually
like in a enclosed water slide for 2,000 feet, right? I mean, that's the analogy. Yeah. That sounds terrifying.
Sounds absolutely terrifying.
It's like, when's it going to end?
Yeah,
you know?
And then when it does end, you have to pull something out of your pocket and drop it to figure out which way is up.
I thought you were going to say pull something out of your pants.
No, he didn't have to do that.
That's
Chris,
second.
While being pushed 2,000 feet, James passed the fuck out.
Oh, well, that's convenient.
Oh.
But eventually, he regained consciousness, and he realized that he was severely injured. Now, James wasn't alone, right? Right, Stephen?
James was not alone.
James was not alone. He was with a man named Richard. You know what happened to Richard?
He was mauled by a grizzly bear.
No, he fucking died while being pushed 2,000 feet.
You insensitive prick.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a miracle the first guy survived, let alone the second guy.
Yeah.
And even if they did survive, they would have probably been so far apart they couldn't even help each other.
Yeah, so James discovered that his buddy that decided to hike this mountain was dead. And James's back was broken in 2 places. He fractured his arm, cracked his ribs, severed nerves, tore ligaments in his knees, broke his fucking teeth, and was bleeding inside.
Didn't they make a Revenant movie about this?
What the fuck are you getting at, Ryan? I'm so depressed now.
James decided he was ready to die.
That's it.
And Angel, you know what happened when James decided to die? He made the choice to die.
He died, dude.
Ready, Freddy?
He's good.
No. He then felt a sudden, strange sensation of an invisible being very close at his hand.
Oh.
It was something that he couldn't see, but he could sense the physical presence. And this presence communicated to him mentally and said, "You can't give up. You have to try." It urged James to get up.
Like crawl? I mean, if your back's broken, like how?
2 places.
What kind of up was he able to accomplish?
And it gave him advice, Christopher. It told him to follow the blood dripping from the tip of his nose as if it were an arrow pointing the way.
It's very specific, oddly specific.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell that to a paraplegic.
As he followed it, he kept breathing. He kept breaking through the crust of the deep snow and was almost able to pull his feet back up because of his injuries. And he started crawling. And eventually he escaped. James escaped. He finally made it back to camp eventually where people were able to aid him. And when the presence left, you know what he felt, Christopher?
Warm?
He felt fucking lonely. Because it was no
weird.
longer there. It guided him to safety.
Then that was it.
Be alive, but all of a sudden he just felt fucking lonely.
I wish I had my buddy.
And there are stories like this all across the world. You can go on Reddit, you can see all kinds of stories where people in car accidents and they get let out by something, and then they say, "Hey, there was a guy here, he pulled me out of the car," and everyone goes, "Nobody was fucking there. Nobody was fucking there." What do you think about this, Steven? Are there other spiritual beings that are guiding us to safety, or is this all bullshit?
I definitely believe that in situations where there's extreme danger, that miracle-like things happen. Whether super strength, adrenaline, woman lifting the car off her baby example kind of bullshit, or maybe somebody being talked to by the other dimension. I do believe in that stuff. Yes, I do.
What say you, Angel? What say you?
Ryan, you bring up something really interesting that touches me in an interesting way.
I love to touch you in interesting ways.
Yeah, that tracks.
Ayo.
I'm glad you're coming out. So the thing is, I'm a very paranoid person, very skeptical. I don't trust nobody, But so when I hear things like this, I'm like, what's the angle? What's the issue? Except I've actually had I've had experiences like this.
Oh, have you?
Not to the extreme where I'm escaping tragedies, but I look back and I'm like, my God, I was a hair away. And I'm sure everyone has had experiences like this, but it's happened a lot because I rarely pay attention to anything. So it's a miracle I'm alive right now. But I've been told by a variety of reputable, if you believe in this or not, whatever it is, but I have been told by a variety of psychics and seers, which is extremely outlandish, that I have an angel watching over me. And I've always chalked that up to, okay, that's like tarot card, weird kind of stuff. But at a certain point, I've been in situations where I should not have come out alive. And it's not so much as a guided hand. It's more of an instinct feeling. But it's an instinct feeling that didn't come from me. You know what I mean? You have your instincts yourself, but it's like, where would I think this up in a million years? And I just act on it. And I don't know what to do with the information afterwards. I'm like, I can't repeat that. I don't think I would ever if I was not in this situation. So I don't know how to explain that, but I feel like these people may have been guided by angels. I believe in that.
Do you hear anything, or do you think that something was just preventing something from happening? Because I feel like
I don't know.
There's been some really weird situations in my life. There's like the coincidental ones, like Chris just happened to be walking next to me when I almost stepped out into the street and stopped me.
Right.
I feel like that was very not magical, but just a very good coincidental. He's right there paying attention kind of moment. There was one time when I was driving home to school, Cal Poly, and I was getting off the exit, like Temple exit. You come up this big off ramp, and it leads up to this street. It's a 3-way intersection at the top, and my light turns green when I'm like 40 feet away from the intersection. So I was slowing down for the red light, turns green. Okay, I'm going to start going. But something inside of me made me want to stop. And as I crept up to the intersection, a car ran the red light going like 70 miles per hour through that light. And I really shouldn't have slowed down before I had a green light. I shouldn't have slowed down. I should have been in that intersection when that car came screaming across. And it shook me for like the rest of the night. Like, why did I slow down? There was absolutely no reason to slow down, but I did, to like look both ways, I guess. And I never do that. So that was like one of the weirdest moments of my life that I never was able to explain.
That sounds similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I think on one hand, you know, like some of the stories that we're hearing, like going back to the avalanche thing, I am a proponent of the being amazed at what the human survival instinct is capable of, and I think that goes if you're caught in an avalanche. I think the strive to do what it takes to survive, and then you also have the situation where it's a fight or flight, you know, to survive. So I think either if you're in control of the situation or not in control of the situation, I think your survival instincts can kick in and make that type of stuff happen. So the ability to like pull yourself up, or what about that guy that was out in Utah and his arm got stuck and he brought himself to cutting his arm off so he could get out of there, you know? So
James Franco,
that guy. So
yeah.
Well, I mean, he's based off a real person, but whatever the real person's name is, yeah. But he started in the movie, is Ryan's point. So I'm always amazed with what survival instincts are capable of and how your adrenaline can kick in and do that type of stuff. So that's on the one hand, I'm totally on board with that. And then on the other hand, kind of like how talking with some of these other stories is, you know, hey, there was like I felt something, or there was something pushing me to go on, or you know, Steven rolling up to a street light and something caused him to give a hesitation. Yeah, for sure, dude. Those guardian angels or that angel cruising around checking stuff out for you totally makes sense. Like I remember Ton and I, we had tickets to this music festival, and I think we had gone once or twice, and then the next year we were like thinking about it, and then we were like, you know, like I guess we probably wouldn't really go because, you know, the band we want to play is like they're going to be playing like late Sunday or something like that, and we're not really interested in the other ones. You know what? Let's just go ahead and not use those tickets. And then I remember Steven texted me. He's like, "Wait, Chris, did you go to the Route 91 show in Vegas?" And I said, "No, we sold our tickets. Why?" And he said, "Look at the news." And then lo and behold, that's when like that shooter thing happened. So, and I was like, "Man,
I'm concerned that you went because you didn't tell anybody you weren't going."
Right. Yeah, dude, we had tickets and everything. We were fully planning on going. It was like 2 weeks before that. We were just like, I'm not really feeling it. Let's see if we could sell them. And we sold them for like peanuts too. So, you know, I feel like we were pretty close to going and we chose not to.
You like always were like lobbying for us, and I didn't listen to country at the time, so I would not have gone. But you're always like, "Come on, man, check out Route 91."
It's a great time.
It was before your stagecoach times. I feel like.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You're like, "Come on, man, it's a good time." You guys want to, and I was like, "Nah," because I didn't really like give into it yet.
So yeah, so I look at a situation like that. I'm like, man, like you would think coincidence, but it just seems like so above and beyond, like in the coincidence situation, you know.
I don't believe in coincidence.
There's a few good stories about people who like missed their flights for 9/11, or like famous people who were supposed to.
Yep.
Pull those up. Well, it's not prepared.
So, I do remember when I was a kid, we were driving back to Arkansas and we were in a car accident. And I remember I was asleep when the car accident happened. I woke up and the ambulance was there and they took the door off and then they put me in a helicopter and then I went back to being asleep. Didn't really feel anything. But I remember from that helicopter ride to the next thing I remember is it was like I didn't have my eyes open or anything, but the way that I described this moment is it felt like someone took a plunger and they were like aggressively like pushing the plunger onto my onto my like chest area and getting like a suction going, like maybe lifting me up and then letting it drop a little bit. And they did that a few times, and I thought that was really weird. And then I woke up in the hospital, and I ended up waking up, I think it was like 2 or 3 days later. And I go through my life, and I realized after the fact that they had to do the chest paddles, and I was like, dude, I bet you that suction cup thing was the chest paddles that was happening, because that's exactly how I would have described it.
How the fuck are you describing a 3-day tragedy where you were airlifted from a fucking helicopter the same way you describe? What the fuck, dude? What the fuck? Jesus Christ!
It's like, you
fucking Chris.
It's like a plunger, like you're like your toilet stuck, so you use the plunger to get it out of the toilet.
You almost died,
Did they
man.
tell you that you died, or that you were just like
You're
needed
so
like
matter of fact.
Yeah.
I think if they shock you, I think you're dead.
Yeah, your heart stopped.
Yeah, they said that it was a cardiac thing. Yeah. So.
Oh my god.
These are some of the people
man,
who. Go ahead.
Oh my god.
So okay,
I need a drink.
According to the Independent, whatever. According to Michael Jackson's older brother, he was supposed to have a meeting in the World Trade Center that day, and he didn't go because he overslept.
All right, for all the CoinOp-ians out there, it pays off to sleep in.
Mark Wahlberg was scheduled to fly on American's Flight 11, the first plane that crashed into the World Trade Center, but he and his friends made a last-minute decision not to fly to Los Angeles.
Wouldn't have Ted?
Yeah.
Or Ted 2?
Ted?
But
Ted. Oh yeah, Ted.
Yeah, he said he boasts that he would have stopped the hijacking if he was on the plane, which I don't know. They probably would have.
Hey man. I don't think so.
And Seth MacFarlane was nursing a hangover and missed his flight.
Wow, all those guys
you wouldn't have American Dad, dude.
That's kind of like a close knit group of people.
Yeah. So Michael Jackson, Mark Wahlberg, and Seth MacFarlane were all supposed to be casualties of that day, but we're not.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
What kind? You're just so matter of fact with this kind of deal. Yeah, man. Fucking tragedy that can ruin an entire family, which we've all had, I'm sure, what kind of event would cause you to go into like a manic crazy state? Or was it because you were when that happened, such an extreme case happened when you were so young, you just become accustomed to it? It's kind of like you're such a freaking hard ass when you were so young that now you're like, yeah, man, whatever. No big deal. It's not like you almost died in a helicopter 3 days later.
Maybe a part of him died that day.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
right. It's I think it's kind of a combination of those things. Like, was it traumatic? Yeah, it was. Like, I started first grade in a wheelchair. That was, I think, like as a kid, kind of traumatic, because I remember I was in the wheelchair on the hill and I had to look down at all the kids like playing basketball and stuff. And I remember I got really bitter at 6 years old, saying, "Man, dude, I want to play basketball, but everyone else is playing basketball. They're having a group playing dodgeball. It's a great time." I felt like, hey, for story time, I had to like crawl out of my chair and like crawl on the ground to get over to story time for first. So first grade was a rough one.
This is like a super villain origin story.
Yeah, right.
Staring at the other kids having
sorry
fun,
for
shaking
So I got it. I got like really bitter about it, but it was like a year or two of like physical therapy, and then things kind of got more normalized. But I think it's actually what I used those villain origin stories of being really bitter to be like, you know what? Well, I want to play basketball then, and I want to play right field in baseball, and I want to be able to do these things. So it started off as bitterness, and then I started using it to be like a fuel to go do things and kind of be, like I was like, I want to make something of myself. And I feel like it was kind of it's almost like how would you describe it? There's the almost like a stunt like a thrill seeker, like you have nothing to lose, I guess. So I think a little bit of that is I felt like I was more willing to push the envelope on things, not necessarily like jumping out of planes or stuff, but I was like, you know what, I should just go for that because I got nothing to lose. Or, hey, Steven, I'm gonna go to EDC because I got nothing to lose there. Or like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go do this because like whatever, just like go for it. So the only reason I'm talking about it probably so calm and casually now is I got bitter and I used stuff for it. And then I kind of got like bitter again. And I think I'm at my point in my life where I look back and say, hey, that was a real tough event, but I think it helps shape who I am now and my ideals and how I operate. And so I'm more at peace with that information. That all things considered, I feel like it was probably better for me than I would like to lead on.
Leading up to the car crash, were you asleep in the car?
Yeah. So it takes 26 hours to drive from Southern California to Arkansas. And so what we would do is we'd all get in the car, and my dad was thinking, hey, it takes 26 hours, so let's just go road. So we were in Texas at the time, and I think we were like maybe 2 or 3 hours outside of Amarillo, Texas, and it was 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I think for him, he was getting ready to, hey, let's. I think it's probably about time to pull over. He said he was like messing with the radio, and so when he looked up. The roads out there is you have 2 lanes going each direction, and then you have that big divot that collects the water in the middle. So mess with the radio. When he looked up, he started going off the edge, and by the time he corrected, he had started going down in that embankment, and then that quick turn caused us to start rolling and go onto the other side. So.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe being asleep and just kind of having probably no recollection of it all happening except for kind of waking up in the hospital. I mean, if you're going to go through something like that, I mean, maybe might as well do it when you're a kid. And,
yeah,
you didn't have a lot of fear or trauma leading up to it. It was just probably post like, oh, I'm hurt, or like I have like a broken this and that, and I got to do therapy. But I think a lot of times what scars people is like the fear and the trauma building up to, and then the pain and suffering after, like all that combined. Because I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you've ever told me, like, if it really made you like scared of getting in cars again, if it made you like, if it like caused any sort of problems with you later on. I mean, in terms of fear or any irrational fears or any psychological effect.
Yeah. I was in the front seat. I did that thing as a kid where you take the seatbelt and you put it like behind you because it's super uncomfortable. So I just remember the accident happened, and since we were out in the middle of nowhere, it must have took some time for the ambulance to get there. But I just remember when I opened my eyes, I looked down, and it was just dark. I couldn't see anything. I looked to the left, my dad was there. I looked to the right, and I saw the window was shattered, and there was lights on, and I was like, what's going on? And that exact moment, the door comes ripping off, and then they just put me on a gurney, put me in the ambulance, and I feel like I was in the ambulance for like 30 seconds maybe, and then helicopter. So I feel like I woke up right for the finale there.
So and there was unconscious for like an hour.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But I was asleep when the accident happened because it was in the early morning. But there was no pain, there was no fear. It was more just like, what's going on? And I even told I told the pilot, I was like, I've never been in a helicopter before. Like that was the only thing I said to the guy.
What was your injuries? You were just bleeding a lot?
Yeah, so the ones that I had is on my stomach. I have a scar where the seatbelt messed up my intestine area, so they kind of had to like take some time to rebuild that whole thing. I had to be on a feeding tube for a while. And then my right arm, I have a scar here where they put a metal plate, so my bicep bone broke, so I have a metal plate there today. For that one, my right ankle broke, so they had a metal plate there. They ended up taking that one out. On my back, I have a scar that I put 2 and 2 together that I think when the accident happened, I went forward and the windshield came in and did like kind of a cut down my back. And then I have like an itty bitty little bald spot on the back of my head where I think that was also some glass coming in. And when I was in the hospital, I remember there was something on my head and I was scratching it. When I pulled it out, it was actually a little square piece of glass. So I think the biggest thing was just like my stomach stuff. Like, I'm almost surprised that I don't poop in as many bags as Steven does. Just because I feel like periodically my stomach will just be like, hey, I'm really not happy with you right now. And I don't know if it's because like the seams are getting like, stretched or whatever, having a hard time. But when I was...
So what caused you to like crash and like You need paddles and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I think it was the bleeding out because I would have been bleeding from my my whole stomach area got kind of torn to lightly describe it. So I was bleeding from my stomach, from my head, my back, my arm, and my leg.
Well,
so I'm assuming.
too.
Yeah. A lot of that type of repair stuff.
Luckily, at 2 a.m. in the middle of butt fucking nowhere, that you were able to get like the medical attention that you needed to.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And it's funny too. I give a big shout out to the Ronald McDonald House because they had a location right next to the hospital. So I was in the hospital for 3 weeks, and then they let me stay there for like another week or so. And then I had grandparents in Arkansas that they collected some money from their church. We had other people back home collecting money, and they were able to get all that together to fly us to Arkansas. We did the vacation in Arkansas, and then we flew back. And so I think all of that whole trip was covered in one way or another.
Yeah, one time my dad took me down a water slide, and it fucking scared me from going on like water slides.
How can you follow that? Chris, you win.
Well, I'm surprised that you were so well adjusted after something so horrible.
I know.
Yeah. It wasn't overnight. I think
that speaks a lot to your character.
I think through my school and junior high and high school years, I got real bitter about it. It was like when college and in my adult life that I think it more smoothed out.
Yeah.
So and then like the funny thing is my brother, who I think he was in the back seat. I'm not quite sure if he had a seatbelt on. He walked away like completely untouched. Yeah. He had like a bruise on his arm, but he was walking no problem. So it's just ironic that like I had it the worst. I was in the passenger seat. My dad dislocated his shoulder. I was 6. 5, 6. yeah, exactly, right. Fun fact, yeah. And don't put the strap behind you either if you want to get comfortable.
Yeah, wear your damn seatbelt.
Yeah. So yeah, life comes at you hard and fast, and I think I kind of use that as the trick now of problems are going to show up in your life, and all you can do is just kind of roll with the punches on it, and just kind of be like, all right, well that happened. What do we do? How do we move on from here? Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Ryan, you had a face. What's going through your mind as you're listening to Chris's tale?
Spooky interventions are confirmed.
Confirmed, Ryan. Yes.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that.
10-4. Chris, thank you so much for sharing. I just want to clarify, I'm laughing because I pictured you at the top of a hill, or villain origin story.
Totally. And I tell it that way.
Like asshole kids down there pointing and laughing.
Yeah, I don't enjoy you getting hurt because I care about you. I don't like that. I'm glad you're okay.
Well, thank you. Glad to be on the CoinOp Cowboys, telling the war story.
Snaps.
Go ahead, Ryan.
That's all I gotta say about that. That was just a great follow-up to Steven shitting on his ankle.
Oh my god, guys! I had the worst time at a bachelor party. I shit my fucking floor.
I think it's
my stomach hurts and I shit my pants all the time.
I shit my socks, guys.
I think it's the second worst bachelor party because he had the other bachelor party where he got really cold and he was tired and grumpy and he didn't have a pillow.
Which bachelor party was that?
In Nashville.
Oh, that's true.
Well, Chris is in a wheelchair shaking his fist at the other kids having a good time.
Timmy!
Steven was at home crossing his legs because he didn't want to take a shit.
What was me?
My childhood is rough.
God, man, it really makes you think, dude. Because, like, I'm half deaf, and I thought it was, like, the worst thing ever. People calling me 2 eyes and shit because I have 2 different color eyes. And I'm like, oh. Over here, Chris is, like, surviving real-life shit. Perspective. Thank you, Chris, for providing perspective.
Yes.
And thank you, Ryan, for... So what was this? It was, like, angels or what?
Spiritual assistance.
Guardian
I think
angels.
that's what it's going for. Guardian angels.
And we had to...
Spiritual what?
Assistance.
Okay. Well, how do you... What's your opinion on it? What's your
I
opinion
agree.
on it?
I believe that there are things out there that are leading us on a certain path so we could accomplish what our purpose is.
And I believe that Chris is just a piece of shit one-upper that wants to fucking trump all of our trauma stories.
That is true. Steal the show. Do you know that I've been waiting for this moment for like 30 years now to show up Steven, Ryan, and Angel? It's finally happened.
Damn.
It all happened for a reason.
It's his redemption arc.
He's back on top of that hill, staring down at
That's
us.
right. That's right. Now it's just like, haha, suckers.
All right. Well, it is currently almost 1 a.m.
It's time to go to bed.
It is time, dude.
Hawaii time or Vegas time?
Bangkok time.
Dude.
Bangkok time.
Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Please like, subscribe, follow, and send us a nice little email with your thoughts.
And nudes.
Yeah, send nudes to Steven. Steven loves nudes. If anything,
Steven loves
exclusively
dick
every
pics.
day. Every day. Anything else you guys want to say? I don't know how to follow up Chris's amazing triumph.
Thank you, CoinOp-ians.
It gets better, guys. Each day it gets better. Don't worry about it. Make sure to wave at the kid in the wheelchair too. That's probably get some little props for him.
Isn't that a Dane Cook
Just
joke?
remember, cherish every day. Eat, live, laugh, and poop.
Yeah. Yeah. And follow Steven's advice of YOLOing on those poops.
You gotta poop, just poop.
Just poop. Don't stress about it. Don't make it a big deal. Just poop. Just poop
Now-
it out.
Smart. Everybody poops.
Yeah.
Sometimes it hurts.
I like the image of just Steven being like, I'm just going to shit myself. No big deal. It's coming out my asshole. Oh, yeah, everything's fine.
You know, so Steven, can you share the link for that emergency poop kit?
I'll
I
send
feel
you a
like
picture of
everyone
it.
should have one. Yeah.
I'll send you a picture of it. It's the emergency.
Leave us a review next when you actually have to use it. How does it compare to the double bag?
I've been very regular since because I've been a good boy and been not avoiding the spicy foods.
Is
Very good.
for that emergency kit, is there any concern of the volume of the bag? Like, is it a good size bag or not so good size
I wonder
bag?
if it's like a puke bag scenario where, like, the puke bag in the plane is clearly not big enough for a decent throw up.
True.
I haven't opened it yet. It's still plastic sealed in its container.
I hope you have to use it soon.
Can't wait.
Let's go get some Indian food.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe
down.
after the world tour de pastrami.
Dude, hat pastrami and butter chicken, man. It's gonna do it for us.
I think that'd be a good vlog video for us to add
Just
for
put-
Patreons or whatever.
Put me in a van and don't let me out of it, and just keep feeding me spicy foods and like lattes until I'm like begging to get out of the van and begging to like pull over. It's just fucking full on shit.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe again, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Later on.
Good night, y'all.